making their way back to the grid. And this will be a Le Mans style start. The bikes, of course, arranged at the side of the track, being held by one assistant. The riders will line up on the other side of the track. And, well, for people like you and me, Peter, this will be the most difficult bit, sprinting across the track to get on the bike. But they'll sprint across the track onto the bike, and away they go on the start of what promises to be an interesting and entertaining race.
And of course, number 0 there in the middle of your picture, Matt Oxley, the road tester for Motorcycle News. He's got a lot of experience at Le Mans start, being an experienced endurance rider, rides 24-hour race and 12-hour races, and they often are started with a Le Mans start, running across the track. He knows what it's about.
He does indeed. And of course, Matt Oxley, a man who's won an Isle of Man TT race, he won one of the production classes last year. He's a very experienced road racer, and his performance will not count in this championship. His points and his results will not count. But Matt is in there just seeing what it's all about for a feature to go in his newspaper in the fullness of time. Well, Keith Nichols, the 24-year-old from Preston on bike number 5, was the fastest. And next to him was a name that we've already heard on this programme so far today, and that's Burnett. But this isn't Roger, it's his brother Ian. And Ian has done extremely well. Younger brother Ian Burnett, 24 years of age. They're lined up on the other side of the track, ready for this Le Mans start. We'll talk a little bit about Ian Burnett and the rest of them as the race progresses. Let's just see them, boys. It really is going to be a sprint job. I've never seen guys, they really are nervous and apprehensive about it all. The red flag goes up to say you're under starter's orders. They're looking at the traffic lights. They sprint across the track, leap onto the bike, and away they go. And Ian Burnett got a flyer. Ian Burnett was very worried about this start. He didn't like the idea at all, but he's made a flyer. And the best thing you can do is to get to the front. But he may have been quick, but he's not quick enough, because Keith Nichols has gone out into the lead, and Ian Burnett, in fact, has dropped back to 3rd place. But you can see how slippery it is there, and if they all stay up, it will be a miracle. The field cautiously picking their way through Redgate, down through Hollywood, and conditions very, very difficult indeed. And that's Keith Nichols, the man who was fastest in practice. And he's throwing cautions to the wind. He's really charging out in front. I spotted that Ian Burnett was in 3rd place, and we're going to have to wait to pick him up to see who's in 2nd spot. This is the race leader. Identical machines. Only modification from normal road going things is that Motard exhaust system's been put on, and that's really for the noise rather than for the performance. So the performance very similar to what these 500cc road bikes would put out. And Keith Nichols, number 5, is the man who leads this exciting new series at its very first round, and a whole bunch of them going through. And that was David Leach. Well, David Leach, of course, is a former man of the series at in the Marlborough Clubman's Championship, so Dave Leach knows all about road racing. 4 riders side by side coming into the S's, and it's Dave Leach in 2nd spot.
It's Oxley who's up into 2nd spot. Matt Oxley, letter O, up into 2nd spot, ahead of 34 and 8.
So Matt Oxley, with all his experience there, has got through to 2nd place, but he's got a whole bunch of riders breathing down his neck as they battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th spots. And they're absolutely side by side, and Matt Oxley's being given the treatment there by Ken Dobson. Number 34, Ken Dobson, ahead of Matt Oxley. And Oxley looking for the inside line, and the door's going to be shut, and Matt Oxley almost paid the penalty for that ambitious overtaking manoeuvre at the end of the first lap. The race leader, Keith Nichols, 2nd place, number 34, Ken Dobson, and in 3rd spot is MCN journalist Matt Oxley. In 4th position was Ian Young on bike number 8. And there's David Leach just behind him. David Leach on bike number 6. And that's the gap between the first man and the rest of the pack. And everyone now beginning to force on the pace as Matt Oxley finds the better line, pushing himself into 2nd spot ahead of Ken Dobson. Ken Dobson, 26 years of age, from Hayes in Middlesex, battling away there with Matt Oxley. And I'll see if I can work out who is going to be the man to collect the £150 for the best under 23.
And as Dobson moves up to try and overtake Oxley again for second place, can't quite do it. Dobson, although now he lives in England, trying to make his way through racing here as originally a New Zealander. And he's right on Oxley's tail. He'll be in the slipstream going down the straight. It's Oxley's machine that's pushing the air away, and Dobson can get a good tow, and he'll try and pop out the slipstream as he does now to move up the inside on the brakes. A real test of braking, and Dobson has taken over second place from Oxley.
He's got a very tight line then, and that'll push him in wide, and Oxley may have the benefit of the acceleration coming out. Dobson with Oxley right behind, and Oxley pulls out of the slipstream, goes through to take the lead, and we've already seen one of these motorcycles on the deck in the warm-up lap, but no problems this time for Messrs Oxley and Dobson side by side. This is the battle for second place, and Dobson's going for the inside line again. It's all heavy on the braking. Oh, and Matt didn't want to know about that then, Peter.
No, he ran wide there. He wasn't quite sure of where Dobson was going. Thought that Dobson might run wide and gave him plenty of room, but with the result that he's lost ground on Dobson, and it's going to be hard for him to pick it up as they're both such even machines.
And here's a nice little group behind, and heading the group is number 9, Ian Burnett. Well, Ian Burnett, an intelligent young man. He's got 11 O-levels, would you believe? And the yellow flags are going, and they're just picking up some debris there. Now, whether that was one of the leaders down or not, we shall have to wait and see.
I think it must have been one of the leaders.
It was the race leader, Keith Nichols, the man who went down there. So that scrap we were seeing between Matt Oxley and Ken Dobson is in fact for the lead. There is the race leader, number 34, Ken Dobson. Ahead of him, number 0, Matt Oxley, who will not score points or win any money. I don't think he's there really as a guest rider in this championship. He's not going to do the series as a whole. He's just seeing what it's all about. And in third spot is bike number 8, and that's Ian Young.
And Oxley, of course, has the advantage as a road tester to ride all sorts of bikes on the road in very difficult conditions. And he's ridden through the winter testing machines as we watch number 8, Ian Young. Oxley's, oh, and he gets it all sideways. Very, very lucky to control that. He just got onto the white line, accelerating out of the corner. Did number 8, Ian Young, and the bike slid sideways and luckily came off the white line and gripped again.
And a chance to see Ian Young's moment of near disaster, winding on the power in third place at the moment. And oh, there it goes sideways. And, that's what we might term a change of underwear job, Peter.
Yes, it certainly will have detuned him a little bit. He'll have lost ground on Oxley and won't be trying too hard to catch up for a lap, trying to feel his way and get his confidence back. As you can see, he's now lost ground on Oxley, who is in second place.
It's been an all-action race, has it not?
Well, it sure has. There's been 3 people falling off here at Redgate, and after seeing Kevin Schwantz in the match races fall down there, Redgate Corner, when you think about it, it's claimed quite a lot of people. It's had Freddie Spencer, world champion, fall on his face there, Marco Lucinelli, so it should be all action in the next transatlantic race, because with the conditions the way they are at the moment, it's a lot slipperier than it was for the first race, so I think we could be in for a spot of action, to say the least.
Well, we shall await the second leg of the Transatlantic Challenge with interest. In the meantime, this man has got 1.5 laps to go to wrap up victory in the opening round of this new Honda V500 Formula Cup. An interesting new championship, and all credit to Honda UK for putting their enthusiasm and initiative and resources behind the series. It's bringing some new names to the fore, and as we said at the start of this particular race, it's encouraging some dealers to get into sponsorship, and of course, as with so many sports, sponsorship is the keynote. So Dobson charging down to Melbourne Corner with this man Matt Oxley in pursuit. Well, I should think Matt will be pleased with himself, Peter.
Yes, I think he will. He's ridden a very intelligent race. He gave it his all from the beginning when there was a chance of battling with Dobson, and when he realised he couldn't and realised there was nobody close behind him, he's just coasted very carefully into a nice second place behind this man, number 34, the New Zealander Ken Dobson. And Dobson's next race will be the Le Mans 24-hour race on Ken Hull's 750 Honda V4, so he'll be riding a Honda again in a couple of weeks in the 24-hour endurance race, and he'll be more than thrilled if he can repeat this sort of performance there, of course.
And Ken Dobson well out almost halfway round this lap, as third place man Ian Young, who's still hanging on there. Back into fourth position goes Dave Leach. He and number 31, that's Phil Arms, have been battling away for much of the race, so Phil Arms still there in fifth spot. In sixth position at the moment is Rob Talton on bike number 23. Then in seventh place is number 11 Chris Barney, and back in eighth spot number 9 Ian Burnett.
Dobson right flat on the tank of the 500, now sits up and brakes. Picks a line through the S's, flicks it one way, then the other on the grippier tarmac of the new circuit.
Dobson then just a few hundred yards away from the checkered flag, just in fact half new extension to go. Then he'll come up to the old chicane as was. And Dobson has ridden a very fine race. As I say, he qualified fifth fastest in practice, but he's going to win it, and that will give him a bonus of £150 from Botan. That's the man who improves the most, and in fact he can afford almost to sit up, but he's still down on the tank. So Ken Dobson wins its opening round of the new Honda V500 series. In second place will be Matt Oxley, the guest journalist in this opening round. Third home should be Ian Young. And there is third place.